welcome back to What Grinds Our Gears with Jamie and Brianna. Now that we're back, we're going to get into Disney in a feminist perspective, I guess.
I have no idea what I'm going to say, by the way, but I feel like it's going to be brilliant somewhat.
I always do this. I always like throw her on the spot when she doesn't know what to say.
Okay.
She just looks around confused.
Am I going to go first then?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thanks. So basically, like we've said a couple times, I think, in our last segment, I feel like most Disney movies focus on a girl who doesn't know how to do anything. She's the damsel in distress. She's not a person, really. She needs a prince to make her happy, or else she's miserable. And she's not strong enough to be by herself, honestly. And it's so sad to think that was that's what children were watching a long time. Like now, the movies that are coming out, the newer ones, like Frozen and Princess and the Frog and everything. But before that, years before that, it's really sad to think that kids were watching these movies, and that's the kind of the image that they saw and the example that they were given. And I think it's completely wrong, honestly.
I think what's sad is that for such a long time, these movies were so relatable.
Yeah.
But now we watch them as just like fairy tales. We don't really think about it. But before that, for so long, it was all about like, oh, that's just like me and insert boyfriend's name here,
Yeah.
which is a little messed up.
Yeah, I mean, throughout our history, women have been treated as subordinate to men.
Yeah.
And the earlier movies like Snow White, Cinderella, they portrayed that, and that's why we hate them, honestly.
I was having a conversation with my brother. It was a really long time ago, actually, but we were talking about like that as time goes on, like the themes in a lot of movies change, and we were basically saying how, I don't know, let's say 50 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
60. Every movie that came out was all about, I want to be in love, I'm not in love, I need to find my other half. And then 30 years after that, all the movies that came out were like, I have a horrible relationship with my parents, I have daddy issues, I'm this, I'm that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now I feel like movies are more like empowering everyone and more about like, do what's right for you and your family, be selfless, don't care what anyone else thinks, be your own person.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing, but it's also kind of annoying just when you, like, Jamie and I go to the movies almost every week, and I feel like sometimes it's the same moral or theme in everything.
Yeah, so it gets really boring after a while because you've seen the same thing so many times that by now you're just
It's repetitive.
yeah. I feel like when people hear a feminist perspective, they're like, "Oh yeah, you're a feminist, you hate men." So they have the definition wrong.
A lot of people assume that if you're a feminist, you have to hate Disney movies, because in 90% of Disney movies, a girl ends up with a prince and they live happily ever after, the end. And then, like, the pages close at the end, like it's a book.
Yeah, I mean, and we're feminists and we like Disney movies,
I
but we
love
can
Disney.
point out the things that we don't like. I mean, in every movie there's something that we don't like.
Yeah.
And just because we are feminists doesn't mean that we hate Disney movies. It just means that, we
It means that you're able to recognize what's wrong with them and you're able to point out that there's some things you don't agree on.
yeah. And it means that you just want equality for everyone. It doesn't mean that you hate men.
Or you hate anyone. It just means...
Yeah, equality.
Yeah. I feel like we've had this conversation before.
We have, but not on the radio, so let's keep talking. I'm kidding. I don't know what else to say, honestly. I'm like, I'm lost.
There's just so much to say about like the Disney princesses as a whole. I'm doing a group presentation with for my journalism class with two other people, and we decided to do a project on feminism in the media. So we were talking about it, and while the two of them were talking, I was on my laptop trying to, find some articles that we could use. And I found this article on a blog, so I'm not really sure how much you want to believe it. And it was basically saying this whole thing about how Disney conditions children that if you're a girl, you should be like passive and lovely and joyful, and if you're a guy, you should be like tough and strong and aggressive. And then she talked about how she was on the Disney like official website or the Disney store website trying to buy something for her niece or nephew. I don't really remember what it is, so I'm sorry. I'm probably getting a
Wait,
few
so
things
she's
wrong.
criticizing Disney, but she's buying their merchandise.
No, because she went on the website to buy something, and while she was there, she realized.
Oh, okay, that
Yeah.
makes more sense.
Because she was saying how when you go to the traditional girl toys,
Mhm.
in the tabs, the characters come up, because that's usually how it is. And in all of the tabs of the girl characters, they were shown like smiling with like holding hands with the person next to them, or like playing and singing and stuff like that.
Mhm.
She said Belle was not shown reading a book. Merida was not shown with her what's it called? Bow and arrow. Mulan wasn't shown doing this or doing that. So she was upset. And then she went to the traditional boy toys. Boy toys. And I don't know why those two words together always make me laugh, but moving on.
Okay.
And she basically was upset again because in all of those tabs, except for one of them, it showed them with weapons and really aggressive and looking like they were going to like charge at like the screen, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
That they were like ready to fight and like go for it, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically the whole article was saying don't watch Disney, don't listen to Disney, don't do anything Disney because they are corrupt and you'd be supporting an anti-feminist network and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
I don't know. It's really it's weird, but at the same time you read it and then you go on the website and you see the characters and you're like, "Oh, that's kind of true." But I feel like we don't really think about it.
Yeah.
And we don't really I want to say we don't have time to think about it like she obviously did, but it doesn't really bother you because you're so used to it.
Yeah, I mean, with the whole Merida not having her bow and Belle not reading, that bothers me actually because it's a part of the character that they are.
That's the whole
And-
point of the character.
Yeah, and if you're making them like be a smile and sing, and that's not how they were for the whole movie. Okay, they're a completely different character. So that bothers me because you're I don't know,
You're like
setting
you're
stereotypes.
stereotyping and taking away an essential part of the character in order to perpetuate this negative connotation and negative stereotype.
Yeah.
And that's messed up
Mhm.
because reasons.
Reasons that we already said, so we're not gonna.
Because reasons refer back to last 10 minutes.
Yes. So.
We're really clumsy today.
I'm having a really clumsy day. I'm sorry. I like bumped
We're
into
both
things.
really tired, and Jamie's lazy because she only had one class today.
I
so
got
she's,
up-
like, not in the
I
mood.
got up and I was like, okay.
I fell asleep. I fell asleep at like 8:30 last
Oh
night.
my god.
I know I'm like a baby.
There's
but
people
then
outside staring at us.
are they really? That's a little creepy. And then I woke up at like 9:40, like an hour after, like in a panic, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna be late for school. It's 9:40. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And then I was like, "Wait,
Oh, they want us to open the door? Oh, okay. So that's why they were staring.
so I don't know. Do you want to go open the door and I'll just ramble on for a couple
ramble
minutes?"
on. I'll be right back. This is really awkward.
It's a little awkward. Well, if we weren't looking and they needed us to go open doors.
Well, I can't.
Okay, so Jamie had to leave. But anyway, I don't know. I just feel like a lot of the more traditional roles in Disney are represented this way, but I don't think that means anything bad.
Yeah, I know. Completely. I missed what you said, but I agree.
I was saying that just because they're portrayed this way doesn't really mean anything bad. I feel like by now it's just kind of a tradition.
Mhm.
But I also feel like that doesn't mean we have to stay that way.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Um,
I feel like...
I think we're almost out of time.
Yeah,
So
anyway,
finish
but-
up.
So, next week we don't know what we're doing, so...
But we might have guests on with us next week.
Yeah, we don't know
It's
yet.
possible.
So,
If we do,
don't
it's
wanna...
going to be really exciting.
Yeah. So, we don't know our topic, but we will, next week.
We don't want to make any promises, but it's
It'll
going to be good
It'll
whatever
be
it is.
something exciting, definitely. So, we'll see you then.